mysterious white-robed woman picks up the boy in the snow. She bared her white arms and took the boy into her warm embrace. But the innocent boy didn't know that the woman was a terrible witch. The witch took out a bottle filled with a green liquid. Then she produced a steaming cup of milk tea. One sip of the warm drink left the boy wanting more. He wanted more candy. The witch used her magic again to conjure up a box of Turkish delight. But the boy didn't know that everything had a price tag on it. The witch looked at Edmund, who was eating happily, and told him what she wanted. If the boy could bring in a few more children, he would have a house full of fudge. This was a great temptation for Edmund. He immediately thought of his siblings, and so all four of them went into the closet and into the fantastic world of Narnia. And before they knew it, a talking beaver appeared. A talking beaver appeared in front of them. What's even more bizarre is that the beaver accurately spoke the names of the four of them. This was a shock to them. In order to answer their doubts, Mr. and Mrs. Beaver spoke the legendary prophecy. At this point, Peter realized that the beaver seemed to be talking about the four siblings. He thought of his mother's advice to take care of his siblings, so he decided to return to the human world. But then he turned his head and realized that his brother Edmund had disappeared. Edmund appeared in the witch's palace. In the cold hall, there are stone statues of all kinds of strange creatures on display. His resistance to his older brother, Peter, had grown over time. He thought that the evil white witch was the one who really cared about him. But when the witch saw that Edmund had come alone, she rebuked the boy. Looking at the suddenly angry witch, the boy panicked. He revealed the location of his family. The boy thought that by betraying them, he could regain the witch's favor. Looking at his naivety, the witch tied him up and put him in a cell. Then the witch gave orders to Moseley, the wolf king. She led the wolves to the beaver's house. Luckily, the beavers had prepared an underground passage. They were able to escape from the wolves for a while. But this is not the way to go. The beavers were ready to take them to help, but then a sleigh suddenly appeared behind them. They thought it was the wicked white witch. In a panic, they hid in a cave. Soon the sounds of the chase dissipated. Mr. Beaver bravely went out to check the situation. Mr. Beaver went out to see what was going on and found that it wasn't the pursuers behind him, but Santa Claus who was delivering presents. It turned out that the arrival of Peter and his four friends had weakened the white witch's evil magic. The spring that has disappeared for 100 years will come soon, and Santa Claus, who had been expelled for 100 years, was able to set foot on this land again. At the same time, he also brought gifts for them. My sister Lucy received the juice of the flame flower. A single drop can heal any wound. For her sister Susan, a bow of precision and a horn to summon helpers. And finally, brother Peter got a shield to protect his family, and the king's arrow to fight the forces of evil. These three got the gifts, which means they have the power to fight against the evil forces. Then with Mr. and Mrs. Haley leading the way, they were led by Mr. and Mrs. Haley to a world of springtime flowers. As the centaur warriors blew their horns, the warriors around them looked on with respect. And the tribe is ruled by a hairy lion king. Not only did he help Peter and others drive away the wolves, he sent for his brother Edmund, though he betrayed them, but they were still family. The four siblings hugged each other with emotion, but the white witch wouldn't stop there. She entered the Lion King's territory. Cyclops carried the cold and proud Snow Queen into the Lion King's territory. His unparalleled aura. The fierce warriors around him were intimidated. The witch says the Lion King has broken the rules of the world. She's come to claim her rights. It turns out that in the world of Narnia, the White Witch handles all traitors and the Lion King's actions. In rescuing Edmund violated that rule. The purpose of the Ice Witch's visit today is not only to take the traitor boy away, but also to restore the lost face. After a moment's silence, the Lion King called the witch to his tent to discuss the matter. Soon, the witch left the territory satisfied, and the Lion King announced that Edmund would not be taken away by the witch. However, looking at the Lion King's unnatural expression, it's not as simple as that. At the end of the night, the Lion King walked out of his territory alone. He came to a stone platform where the demons were dancing. It turned out that the way he persuaded the witch to leave was to trade his life for a life. He traded his life for Edmund's, the lion that used to be the king of lions. Now, in fulfillment of his promise, he was plucked by a group of goblins. Then the witch raised her dagger and ended the life of the Lion King. The king of his generation had fallen, and the Frost Witch lost her greatest rival. She gave orders to all her ministers. As soon as the sun comes up, they'll conquer the whole of Narnia. The sisters, who had followed her, saw this. They rushed the Wind Spirit to the territory. They told their brother Peter about the battle. The next day, the battle raged. The good side was without its Lion King. Peter, the elder brother, took command. He rode his unicorn with all his might. In fact, you can't tell by their dodging eyes. They were all panicking. Soon the figure of the enemy's Minotaur general appeared on the horizon. He raised his weapon and shouted. Many times more orc warriors appeared in front of their eyes. There were many different kinds of orc warriors. Tall, short, fat and thin, and the Frost Witch was sitting on a bear cart pulled by two white bears. Peter knew there was no turning back. He raises his king's sword in a pep talk, and this stirs the Frost Witch to action. As the Minotaur general raised his arms, the orcs charged. Peter commands the salvos to throw rocks in the air to deplete their numbers, and he and the centaur leader charge the enemy. The archeress bends her bow and fires a cloud-piercing arrow. With a blast in the air, a fiery phoenix appears. She dives into the battlefield and unleashes a wall of fire to stop the orc army from attacking. However, there was a powerful eye switch on the other side. The fire is extinguished like a small flame in front of her. Now we have no choice but to apply for a job with the orcs. Meanwhile, on the other side, the sisters are with the late Lion King, but now the battle is on. She was ready to go back to support her brothers. At that moment, the ground suddenly shook. Susan and the two sisters turned around to find the Lion King resurrected in the stone doorway. It turns out that according to the rules of Narnia, the stone door can only execute traitors. If innocent people are treated as traitors, then the stone platform will crack and the death will be reversed. Then the Lion King set her down in a crouch and carried the two sisters to the witch's palace. There were countless enchanted stone statues. As the Lion King breathed out his immortal breath, the spells on the stone statues were gradually dissolved, and in the battlefield here, the witch's side gradually gained the upper hand. Peter was even attacked by an archer. He fell off his horse. Looking at the raging ice witch, the centaur general and the rhinoceros warrior launched a charge. Soon they were fighting with the minotaurs. The minotaur wanted to use brute force to win, but it didn't know that his whole body was full of flaws. The centaur descended and sent the minotaur to the northwest. The centaur general took advantage of the situation to continue his attack and tried to finish off the frost witch, but the witch easily dodged it. Then the witch pulled out her wand. The centaurs instantly turned into statues and fell to the ground. Just then, two vultures fell from the sky, but the witch was not prepared. The battle was easily resolved. Seeing that our forces were severely depleted, Peter told his brother to flee the battlefield, but Edmund, a former traitor, didn't want to back down. This time, he chose to take the fight head-on. He jumped down from the heights when the witch wasn't looking and cut off her wand. The witch was furious. She hit Edmund with an arrow. Peter saw that his brother was hurt. He lost his mind and fought the witch to the death, but his anger didn't diminish the gap between them. Peter soon fell to the ground. At that moment, the Lion King arrives just in time. He was accompanied by an army freed from petrification. Seeing this, the witch no longer delayed. She was ready to finish off Peter in a hurry, but the Lion King swooped down at that moment. The witch met God with a look of despair. In an instant, the entire demon army disappeared. The people of Narnia emerged victorious. In the end, the Lion King thanked Peter and his family. Peter's family,
Great Western Wood, King Edmund, the Just, through the radiant southern sun, Queen Susan, the gentle, and to the clear northern sky, I give you King Peter, the magnificent. Once a king or queen of Narnia, always a king or queen.
As time passed, Peter and his family grew into adults. That day in the woods they saw the familiar lighthouse. Lucy led them back through the trees to the closet, and as if no time had passed, they became children again. To be fair, The Lion King, The Witch and the Wardrobe is not a great movie. Its plot development is step-by-step and non-convincing. Its characters are distinct but slightly underdeveloped, and there are heavy traces of rushed development, resulting in poor pacing. However, if you remove these things and look inside, it is indeed a familiar fairy tale. Everything is so simple and clear. Good will win, evil will fail, sages never really die, and the sword of the brave will shine forever, even if it's in the hands of a teenager. To the grown-ups, these are indeed childish and naive arrangements. However, we really used to believe that the world is so simple, believe that evil can't prevail over good, believe that the prince kissed the wake-up must be the princess, and inside the family must live a happy and joyful life forever.